Hey, what's up guys, and welcome back to IGCSE Success, your one-stop shop for everything first language English. Now, if truth be known, I wasn't going to make this video because I do think it's very unlikely that Cambridge are going to give you a newspaper report or a formal report. But it could happen, and the last thing I want you to do is be sitting there hoping that the ground opens up and swallows you whole. In fact, I think the last time that a newspaper report came up was 2019, and the last time a formal report came up was 2018. I could be wrong. However, I did spend a considerable amount of time looking through past papers trying to find a newspaper report or a formal report, and I just couldn't find any recent ones. That said, because they haven't come up in such a long time, they could come up because they are two prescribed text types that you guys need to know. So with this in mind, I have created a very short video looking at newspaper reports and formal reports, looking at the differences, the purposes, and I've written two complete models for you should they come up. And I've said this a million times before, if you cannot write in each of the text types, how on earth can you answer a question 3 successfully? So enough waffling, let's get on with looking at newspaper reports and formal reports. How exciting! Right guys, let's get started. I don't want this video to be super long like my last one. Report writing. And you'll notice if you take a look at the screen grabs on your screen right now, they both say read passage A. So we're talking 2019 and before, so it's been a long time since newspaper reports and formal reports have come up. But as mentioned before, it might be the perfect time for them to come up. So it's really important that you do prepare, you do have a go at writing a formal report and a newspaper report so that you can answer a question 3 on both of these text types. Okay, newspaper reports 101. I'm going to whiz through this really quickly. Apologies if this is teaching grandma to suck eggs. I do apologize. What is a newspaper report? Well, a newspaper report is it's a factual account of a recent event, and said event is deemed newsworthy enough to be published in a newspaper. Why? What is the purpose of newspaper reports? Well, they inform readers about facts and details of a particular event. And how do we craft a newspaper report? Well, they're factual, as I mentioned before. They're balanced, they're impartial. I don't know where the L's gone. They include a catchy headline, facts and statistics, interviews, in the way of direct speech and reported speech, and they follow this inverted pyramid structure, and that is the phrase that journalists like to use. Basically, it means that the most important information is at the top and the least important information is at the bottom. Of course, there are other features, but these are really the nuts and bolts of a newspaper report. And there's the inverted pyramid, right hand side. Anyway, let's take a read of a model, starting with a catchy headline. Science experiment explosion rocks high school classroom. Yesterday, a science experiment at a local high school turned disastrous when an explosion rocked the classroom. The incident, which occurred during a routine experiment in a chemistry class, left students and teachers shaken and raised concerns about the safety of science experiments in schools. According to eyewitness accounts, the experiment involved a combination of chemicals and had been going smoothly until suddenly there was a loud explosion. The force of the blast shattered glass and knocked over equipment, causing chaos in the classroom. Several students were injured in the blast, although none of the injuries were serious. It was like something out of a movie, said one student who witnessed the explosion. There was a loud bang and then everything started shaking. Another student commented that it was a truly terrifying experience. Emergency services were called to the scene and the injured students were taken to the hospital for treatment. The school has launched an investigation into the incident and has temporarily suspended all science experiments until safety protocols can be reviewed. So you'll notice I have put a number of things in red. Let's have a look at the different features I have included. Well, some of the features I've included. We have a catchy title, as mentioned before. We have embedded clauses. So that's the extra information between two commas, starting with a relative pronoun, very typical of newspaper reports. We've got journalistic phrases according to eyewitness accounts, comma, so a complex sentence there. Past tense throughout. We've got direct speech there, and we've got reported speech. Observe the differences, guys. Essentially, reported speech quite often has been paraphrased. The incident has also raised questions about the safety of science experiments in schools and the need for better training and safety measures for both students and teachers. It's important that we take a step back and review our safety protocols, said a spokesperson for the school. We want to ensure that our students and staff are safe and that incidents like this never happen again. The incident had sent shockwaves through the school community, with many expressing their concern and calling for stricter safety measures. The school has assured parents and students that they are taking the incident seriously and will take all necessary steps to ensure the safety of everyone in the school. As the investigation continues, many are left wondering what could have caused the explosion and what could have been done to prevent it. The incident serves as a reminder of the potential dangers of science experiments and the importance of safety protocols in schools. So again, we've got direct speech there, and you should aim to pepper your direct speech or reported speech throughout your piece. We've got that inverted pyramid structure, so the additional information, the least important, if you like, information comes towards the end. And your final paragraph quite often is written in present tense. What is being done about said problem? What's going to happen next? So let's swiftly move on to formal reports. What is a formal report? Well, it is a detailed document that provides a comprehensive assessment of a business's facilities, operations and services. Why? What is the purpose? Well, it seeks to evaluate a business's standards and regulation and highlights any problems and how to rectify these problems so a business can continue thriving and not simply surviving. How? What are the features that we use? Well, they are also factual, they're unbiased, no flowery language, discourse markers. They quite often have subheadings to divide their findings up, facts and statistics throughout the whole thing, as well as a formal tone throughout. And the structure can be as simple as introduction, these are the problems that were found, and these are the recommendations. More on that later. Let's take a read of a model response. So starting with the title, assessing the conditions of IG Hangout. See what I did there? A formal report. Starting with an introduction. IG Hangout is a budget-friendly hostel that caters to backpackers and budget travellers. The hostel is located in a popular tourist destination and offers both dormitory and private room options. While the hostel has received positive reviews for its affordability, some guests have raised concerns about the cleanliness and safety of the hostel. This report examines the conditions of IG Hangout, a backpacker hostel located in a popular tourist destination, and highlights areas for improvements. Conditions. Let's read some of the problems. After conducting a thorough inspection of IG Hangout, we observed the following conditions. Firstly, the common areas including the kitchen and lounge were found to be unclean and not up to acceptable safety standards. Surfaces and floors had visible dirt and dust. Secondly, there was a lack of maintenance with broken fixtures and leaky faucets in facilities such as the showers and toilets. Thirdly, we noted a clear pest infestation, with guests reporting sightings of pests such as cockroaches and mice in both their rooms and common areas. Lastly, ventilation around the hostel was poor. Many of the rooms were poorly ventilated with no windows or inadequate air conditioning, leading to stuffy and uncomfortable sleeping conditions. So let's take a look at some of the features that I have put in red. So first of all, we've got the title of the report, subheading number 1, outlining the business and purpose of report, subheading 2, outlining the problems found during the inspection, and lastly, discourse markers to structure your ideas and to create that formal tone. And let's read the second half, ending with the recommendations and conclusions. And for recommendations, you can bullet point, guys. That is typical of formal reports. To improve the conditions of IG Hangout, the following recommendations are suggested. Cleaning. The hostel should establish a regular cleaning schedule for common areas and ensure that all surfaces and floors are thoroughly cleaned and sanitized. Maintenance. The hostel should conduct regular maintenance checks to ensure that all facilities, including showers and toilets, are in good working condition. Pest control. The hostel should hire a pest control company to eliminate any pest infestations and establish regular pest control measures. Ventilation. The hostel should invest in proper ventilation systems such as installing windows or improving air conditioning to provide guests with comfortable sleeping conditions. Ending with the conclusion, IG Hangout Backpacker Hostel is a budget-friendly option for travellers, but the conditions of the hostel need improvement. Dirty common areas, lack of maintenance, pest infestation and poor ventilation are areas of concern that should be addressed. By implementing the recommendations provided, the hostel can improve its conditions and provide a more comfortable and safe environment for its guests. So the final section for recommendations, as mentioned, you can bullet, end with a conclusion, what happens next. And what I didn't mention before, take note of the sentence types that you are using. Complex sentences rather than simple sentences are preferred when writing formal reports. And that's everything, guys. I hope this video has been useful. Let me know in the comments below and I will try and churn out a couple more videos before your exam next week. Until next time, bye bye.